In this detailed tutorial, we will take an in-depth look into the life and achievements of Sir Winston Churchill, one of Britain's most iconic figures. Best known for his leadership during World War II, Churchill's career spanned decades and involved numerous roles, including military officer, politician, writer, and artist. We'll explore his early life, military service, political career, leadership during the Second World War, his post-war years, and the lasting influence he continues to have on global history. 1. Early life and family background. Sir Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill was born on November 30, 1874, into a prominent aristocratic family. His father, Lord Randolph Churchill, was a conservative politician who served as Chancellor of the Exchequer, while his mother, Jenny Jerome, was an American socialite. Despite their wealth and status, Churchill's relationship with his parents was distant, especially with his father, who had high expectations but was often critical of his son's achievements. Raised primarily by a nanny, Churchill experienced a rather lonely childhood, marked by his struggles at Harrow School, where he was seen as rebellious and uninterested in academics. 2. Education and military training. Although Churchill struggled in traditional schooling, he eventually found his footing in military training. After several failed attempts to pass the entrance exam, he was accepted into the Royal Military Academy at Sandhurst, where he excelled, graduating 8th in his class. His success at Sandhurst helped pave the way for his military career, where he first served in India and Sudan. During this time, he also worked as a war correspondent, writing dispatches that earned him both fame and notoriety. 3. Early military career and war correspondence. Churchill's first significant exposure to military conflict came during the Malakand campaign in British India in 1897, where he fought against tribal insurgents. He also participated in the Battle of Omdurman in Sudan in 1898, which was one of the last cavalry charges in British military history. In 1899, he resigned from the army to pursue a career in politics but soon found himself back in action as a war correspondent during the Second Boer War in South Africa. It was here that Churchill's legend began to grow. After being captured by Boer forces, he made a daring escape, traveling nearly 300 miles to safety. This event made him a national hero and greatly boosted his political. 4. Political career, from conservative to liberal and back again. Churchill's political career began in earnest in 1900 when he was elected as a Conservative MP for Oldham. However, his early years in politics were marked by his defection to the Liberal Party in 1904, driven by his support for free trade and social reform, areas where he clashed with conservative policies. As a Liberal, Churchill took on various cabinet positions, including President of the Board of Trade and Home Secretary. He was instrumental in introducing a range of social welfare programs, including unemployment insurance and pensions, which would later form the foundation of Britain's welfare state. 5. World War I and the Gallipoli disaster. Churchill's career hit a low point during World War I when, as First Lord of the Admiralty, he championed the ill-fated Gallipoli campaign. Designed to break the stalemate on the Western Front by attacking the Ottoman Empire, the campaign ended in failure, resulting in heavy casualties and tarnishing Churchill's reputation. Forced to resign from the Admiralty, he briefly rejoined the army, serving on the Western Front. Though his reputation suffered, Churchill's political resilience saw him return to government, where he played key roles in munitions production and post-war economic policies. 6. The road to World War II. By the 1930s, Churchill had become a political outsider, largely due to his opposition to Indian independence and his staunch warnings about the rising threat of Nazi Germany, which were dismissed by many of his colleagues. However, when Britain found itself on the brink of war in 1939, Churchill's foresight and preparedness were finally recognized. In 1940, following the resignation of Neville Chamberlain, Churchill was appointed Prime Minister. His steadfast refusal to negotiate peace with Adolf Hitler, even when Britain stood alone against the Axis powers, would become the defining feature of his leadership. 7. World War II leadership, strategy and speeches. Churchill's role during World War II is perhaps his most enduring legacy. He inspired a beleaguered nation through some of its darkest days, including the Battle of Britain and the Blitz, when London and other cities faced relentless bombing. His speeches, including the famous, "We shall fight on the beaches," and "This was their finest hour," were instrumental in galvanizing British resistance. Churchill worked closely with Allied leaders, particularly U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt and Soviet Premier Joseph Stalin, to forge the Grand Alliance that ultimately defeated Nazi Germany and the Axis powers. His ability to rally not just Britain but the entire free world against tyranny is why he is remembered as one of the greatest wartime leaders in history. 8. Post-war career and the Iron Curtain speech. Despite his wartime heroism, Churchill lost the 1945 general election. However, he continued to play a major role in world politics, warning of the growing Soviet influence in Eastern Europe in his famous 1946 Iron Curtain speech. He returned as Prime Minister from 1951 to 1955, overseeing Britain's recovery and playing a key role in the early stages of the Cold War. Although his second term was less eventful, his work in international diplomacy and efforts to solidify Western alliances left a lasting impact. 9. Writing, Art, and Nobel Prize. Aside from his political career, Churchill was also a prolific writer and artist. He authored numerous works, including his 6-volume History of World War II, which earned him the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1953. Churchill found solace in painting, producing hundreds of works throughout his life. His literary and artistic contributions further solidified his status as one of the most versatile and accomplished figures of the 20th century. 10. Death and Legacy. Winston Churchill passed away on January 24, 1965, at the age of 90. His state funeral was attended by world leaders and millions of mourners, cementing his legacy as one of the greatest Britons of all time. Today, Churchill's life is studied and celebrated not only for his wartime leadership but also for his resilience, wit, and unwavering dedication to the principles of democracy and freedom. Conclusion. Sir Winston Churchill's remarkable life is a testament to perseverance, leadership, and an unwavering commitment to his nation during times of both peace and war. From his early days as a rebellious student to his pivotal role as Britain's wartime Prime Minister, Churchill left an indelible mark on history. His leadership, both in the political arena and on the battlefield, and his legacy as a statesman and Nobel Prize-winning writer, make him a towering figure whose influence continues to be felt globally. Don't forget to like, comment, and consider subscribing for more tech tips and tutorials. Thanks for watching Cyber-Theo. Check my links below.